Israel is bombing Iran again, plus the US has officially gone to war, and a lot more. So here's all the news from the last 24 hours. Yeah, Israel's bombing Iran again, but first, Israel has been embarrassed today like nothing we've seen before. Specifically, an Iranian hacker group has hacked into the former Israeli Prime Minister's phone and released thousands of classified documents. Iran said, quote, "The former Israeli Prime Minister publicly denied this, and he insisted that his mobile phone was never hacked. But the truth speaks for itself." In fact, Iran released almost 2,000 documents from his phone to prove him wrong. It's a huge embarrassment to Israel like nothing we've seen before. But yeah, Israel is preparing to bomb Iran again, as I said. Today we found out that Netanyahu is preparing to brief the US President Trump when he meets him later this week on possible new Iran strikes. This is actually simply in response to a few days ago when Israel admitted that during the 12-day war with them back in June, they failed to destroy Iran's ballistic missile capability. At the time, Israel said they, quote, "obliterated Iran's ballistic missile capabilities," but then a few days ago they admitted that that didn't happen. But as I said at the start, the US has officially gone to war. In fact, today they announced something called Operation Hawkeye Strike. In fact, just over the last 2 days alone, the US has carried out over 70 airstrikes onto ISIS in Syria. You need to know about this. It's actually not just the US involved in this, it's Jordan, it's the Syrian government themselves as well. The US said, quote, "Today we hunted and we killed our enemies. Lots of them, and we will continue." The US has officially declared war on ISIS now, and it looks like this time, at least they say, it could be the last one. There's still more to come, by the way, that's way more important. But first, you can get all of your news from me, so leave me a follow for this news that I give you every day. But something really important, today Sweden seized a Russian cargo ship, and Russia is really mad over it. Specifically, they said, quote, "Last night we boarded the ship with support from the Swedish Coast Guard in order to make a customs inspection." The reason they did that is that the ship was actually under EU sanctions and it was suspected of smuggling weapons illegally. We don't know if it was yet. Sweden still has the ship in their custody. One quick point, all of these quick summaries I make full videos on, so check out my other videos. But one more thing you might not know, Egypt recently signed a $35 billion deal with Israel to buy gas from Israel. Well, as you'd expect, there was a huge amount of backlash for that because Egypt was paying for Israel's war on Gaza. But actually, despite that, today Egypt said they don't care. In fact, Egypt has doubled down on the deal. They called it the deal, quote, "purely commercial." So Egypt is actually going to go ahead with this deal they've done with Egypt, they announced today, despite all of the backlash and the stupid mistakes Egypt has made in signing this deal. But stuff like this happens every day and really no one covers it, which is why you should leave me a follow for some more global news like this.